going on, guys? Today we're going to be talking about facial attractiveness and body fat percentage. And the point that I want to bring across is that facial attractiveness is essentially 100% one-to-one correlated with body fat percentage. And the reason being is because when you are high body fat, your face has a lot of fat. And when you're low body fat, your face has a low amount of fat. And I've experienced this in my life personally. For example, when I show people my license, my driver's license, and they see the photo, they're taken aback. They're like, are you sure this is you? Right? Because I lost a lot of weight. And like literally my head is like smaller now because the amount of fat has been receded. So we just have to understand that body fat percentage does literally equal facial attractiveness. And again, I'm not trying to be like a motivational YouTube channel or whatever by any means. Because trust me, there's plenty of those out there. And for the most part, they all say the same thing, if I'm being totally honest here. But the bottom line is that obviously you know yourself, and I could never necessarily know you personally. Outside of like, oh, let's do it, live together. Let's meet up here together, this, that, and the other. Like outside of all of that, I'm saying just in general, like I don't really know anything about all of you. Obviously, you know yourself better than I do, so take what I'm saying with that grain of salt. That I don't know you, but let's be real. Are we truly maxed? Are we truly looks maxed? Are we truly facially attractiveness maxed? Are we truly body fat percentage maxed? Right? And I would, if I was a betting man, which I'm not, I would bet that over 90% of inkwells are high body fat percentage, to be quite honest. And I think that I don't think it's a guarantee. And this kind of goes back to what I'm saying. Like, I don't know you, right? Like, you might literally have a completely sunken face. And obviously, like, I mean, it's just obviously over for you, to be honest. However, from a personal well-being standpoint, a personal confidence standpoint, and a personal self-dignity and self-respect standpoint, it still would make sense to be lean, to lean max, to be low body fat. Not necessarily get a six-pack, but get pretty damn close. Just for overall well-being, I think it is healthy to be around, to be under 20% body fat is definitely the healthiest. Probably somewhere in the range of 10 to 20% for men is healthy. So I mean, yeah, if you're kind of above 18% body fat, to be honest, you probably are unhealthy to some degree. And this isn't necessarily like a health channel either, right? It's not like, oh yeah, just always maximize your health in every way, shape, and form. No, I don't believe in that either, because mental, um, how do you say, like, essentially feel good, like mental feel good is also important. So if your mental capacities and your mental feel good truly, genuinely facilitates you being around 20% instead of lower than 20% body fat, then I would be willing to accept that. But I mean, if you're above 22% body fat, honestly, I think if you're going to say that, like, that makes you happy, I would honestly say that you're lying to yourself and that it's a cope. Um, but a cope isn't necessarily all bad either. If a cope is keeping you here, then essentially keeping you here is better than you not being here, obviously. So again, yeah, just take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. But regardless of all of that, the bottom line is that less of being severely deformed, your facial attractiveness is 1-to-1 correlated with your body fat percentage. So if you're a high body fat percentage, you'll have a bigger face, a bigger head, a rounder head, a fatter face. You'll have a double chin, potentially a triple chin. Think about like Jonah Hill, the actor in the movies, for example. He has like a double or a triple chin in some of those movie appearances because he was overweight or is overweight. I don't know what he looks like now, but yeah. Um, and that makes him less attractive. And then with the double chin, with the triple chin, you essentially do not have a jawline. And the jawline, again, is 1-to-1 correlated with your body fat percentage. Again, this is like, you know, there's going to be outliers as far as like, the half of your face is sunken in, like that one guy on TikTok where like half of it, he has a twin brother. His twin brother looks like a normie or a high tier normie, and then he looks like a complete freak sub 5 because half of his face is sunken in literally. So obviously, like, aside from that, because it's completely over for you like that, obviously. But aside from that, I feel like the overwhelming majority of men, of young men, and I feel like most men that consume black pill content, the overwhelming majority are not body fat percentage optimized. And I'm not either, to be to be totally honest with you. I have basically like a 4-pack right now. I'm at 14-15% body fat. So I'm close to a 6-pack, but I'm not there yet. And the difference between a 6-pack and a close to being a 6-pack is severe. Severe. It's the final, most severe hurdle. Everything else, essentially, working up to this was like a mini boss. Like in Dark Souls, it's like you're fighting all these bosses, you're doing the rolls correctly, and you're slashing your sword correctly, and you're beating the bosses, and you memorize the patterns over the few months or over the few iterations, hours in Dark Souls of beating the boss, and then you move on to the next one. You memorize those iterations, and maximize those over the next few months, or in Dark Souls over the next few hours, and beat that boss. Going from, around 15% to around 10% body fat percentage is severely difficult compared to going from 20% to 15% or 25 to 20%. And it's for multiple reasons. One reason is because I genuinely feel severely less motivated to get to that point, because I've already lost so much weight and I've already transformed my physical appearance so drastically that the minute amount of change that I'm now going for, it's going to be essentially, from my personal standpoint, it's going to be much less rewarding or much less drastic of a change from what I have been used to. From a output standpoint versus reward standpoint, my output to go from 15 to 10% is going to be massive, compared to my reward standpoint is going to be very minute, versus my output from, say, 30% to 25%. My output was very minimal, but my result was massive. And so the reward aspect of it severely dwindles. Severely dwindles. And then on top of that, the amount of effort, exponentially goes up. I have to literally pay attention to every meal, every single meal, every meal that I eat. Everything I eat, I have to pay attention to. Whereas when I was, going from 20 to 15, it didn't really matter too much, as long as I was on a somewhat semi-consistent, more or less, eating pattern, eating diet. It was pretty solid. And now it's like, if I'm not in a noticeable caloric deficit, I'm not losing weight. No chance. And this is not a fitness channel, obviously, so I'm not going to get into all the specifics. But if people really want me to, I can. But just really quickly, some of the methods would be cutting out calories from drinks, excluding alcohol. I don't think I could go on without alcohol. But other than alcohol, getting rid of all caloric intake from drinks, removing all fast food from the diet, changing the type of foods I'm eating, essentially not really eating like white bread or a lot of rice, instead eating just like meat and vegetables, essentially, of sort, whether it's chicken or ground beef or a steak, and whether it's broccoli or mixed vegetables or, I don't know, cauliflower rice or something. So, yeah, but I feel like now going from 15 to 10%, now I have to really dial in. And it's very difficult, especially drinking alcohol, because every alcohol drink is somewhere around 80 to 120 calories. So factoring that into the mix is difficult. And recently what I've been doing is just doing a lot more physical activity. So I'm upping my physical activity to to essentially allow myself to eat more calories. So, um, we'll see how that goes. I've been doing it for 2 weeks. I've been going really, really hard, but we'll see over the course of, let's say, like the next 6 weeks. So it'll be like a full 2 month period, and kind of see where I'm at then. I think I'm also gaining muscle, so it makes the numbers on the scale not really work in my favor. But when I look in the mirror, I can see more definition. So I know I'm losing body fat, but I also see on the scale I'm not losing weight. So that means that I'm gaining muscle, losing fat, because again, I can see in the mirror I'm getting leaner. But yeah, anyway, aside from that, I can make a video on eating. I've done a lot of fasting as well, and various diets and various forms of diets, and I can talk more detail about that another time. But that aside, I would say that I've completely transformed my body, and my face looks completely different. I do have a jawline now. You know, aside from people with severe deformities, most guys will have a jawline if they have a low body fat percentage. And every single Chad light has a very low body fat percentage. The only possible way you have the ability to see a jawline, or to see cheekbones, or to see those sunken cheekbones where it like goes inward or whatever, and like the hexagonic shape of a jawline going straight down, then to the side, then straight down, then to an angle, and then straight across. The only way you can see that hexagonal shape is by being at a low body fat percentage. And all I'm trying to kind of essentially say is you necessarily don't know. You necessarily can't know until you're there. So I would just say you don't know if you have bad genetics until you truly become lean maxed. Because you can't necessarily make assumptions on what your jawline will look like. And you can't make assumptions on how your jawline will be perceived by women either, before you even have achieved a low body fat percentage jawline and cheekbone kind of mix. And this is probably around 12% body fat, I would say. I would say around 15%, which is where I'm at currently. Your facial attractiveness is it comes in a very good way. So I have a jawline, I have a chin, and you kind of can see my cheekbones and my sunken cheeks or whatever to some extent. So I would say, like, again, like, you have to be under 20% body fat. Otherwise, you can't even see your face or any connotation of facial attractiveness by any stretch of the imagination. And on top of that, you have probably seen videos and YouTube shorts or TikToks of someone going from overweight to Giga Chad, and you can't gloss over that. It's not all genetics. It is all genetics, but it's not all genetics in the way that they were overweight and unattractive, and now they are very lean and attractive. And so I would just say don't make the assumption that you are going to stay unattractive even while you're low body fat. Because again, you don't know how women will perceive you. You don't know how all humans on the planet will perceive you. Because again, you simply just get treated like a person with dignity when you are lower body fat. When you're a high body fat percentage, like above 20%, you're basically subhuman species. You don't really get treated like a human being. So I would just say, even if you think you will maintain inkwelldom for life, regardless of your body fat percentage, I would say it is still well advised to lower your body fat percentage just to be respected by your fellow humans at a human level, by men especially, but also by women. But men will at least give you dignity and respect if you are not fat. If you're lean, you will at least get respect and be treated like a human to some extent. I feel like this video was literally just like a health advertisement, so I was kind of just blabbing, but hopefully it was somewhat entertaining. I do have a lot of other black pill videos on the channel, so be sure to check those out, and I'll see you on the next one.